Where would I be without the Longford Trust? It's hard for me to kind of, I suppose, effectively answer that question. But what I'll do is I'll try and give you a brief overview of where my friends are. So people who I grew up with, a majority of them are dead. They've been shot dead and murdered in New Cross. A majority of them are doing life in prison or doing IPP sentences, which is indeterminate sentence, where they're not given a release date. A few are doing double figures. A few the other day recently got given 30 years. A few got given 18 and 20 years. And these are all guys who I grew up with, do exactly the same how I was.
Jason, Richard and Naomi are three young ex-prisoners who've been awarded scholarships by the Longford Trust to help them continue their rehabilitation by going to university. The awards contribute to tuition fees, living expenses and course materials.
I'm currently studying a foundation photography degree. It's a full-time course, but we only study for 2 to 3 days, and it's for 2 years. I can then go on to the 3rd year to make it a BA, like a full degree, which I'm considering.
I'm going to be an assistant site manager for a year, which is my gap year, or a year in industry as it's called, with construction management, the course I'm doing.
I like reporting on politics mainly and trying to understand how society works together. I'm a freelance journalist, mainly working in radio and something called Digital Stories. I've managed to get together an interesting bunch of speakers who will kind of speak briefly for 10 minutes on the issues. I used to work at GMG Radio, which is smooth and real radio. I've worked at Global Radio, mainly at LBC, and other kind of charitable organisation I do work for.
I applied for some funding to help me basically get onto my course, because financially I just couldn't have done it anyway. And the Longford Trust basically gave me a scholarship towards my camera equipment, which is a big help.
If you need additional aid, even though I'm in my year in industry, maybe for issues such as travel costs maybe, or a percentage towards travel costs, the Longford Trust will always look at that situation and, well, they try their best to help you out.
As a person like myself, I kind of had to support myself with everything, basically. So without kind of extra income, I probably may have not have continued my, finished my degree, and I probably, who knows where I'd have been. I probably would have maybe lost hope, maybe lost a bit of enthusiasm.
I'm in my 2nd year, 2nd term of university, and we're preparing for our end-of-year project. I came up with this idea to do a series of self-portraits, and then I'm going to display them at our end-of-year exhibition.
The Longford Trust accompanies its financial awards with individual mentoring. Naomi has been supported by her volunteer mentor, Michelle, as she progresses through her photography degree.
When we first met up for coffee, and I thought, oh my God, what's Naomi going to be like? And it's just been so great. We've had so many good chats and things, and now I'm here. I feel I'm a little bit part of this myself. It's quite nice.
Well, I do try to keep you informed.
You do. You're brilliant at that. You're really, really brilliant. And I don't know what you feel you get out of it, but for me, I feel I probably get more out of it than you do.
You're genuinely telling me how you see me and how you've seen the progression since we've met. Yeah. And I think for me, on a personal level, that touches me.
When I heard about what you were doing, and I thought, well, that is going to be challenging, and I thought, well, maybe the big challenge is confidence.
Although, yes, the confidence plays a big part, it's more whether people accept you. And do they need to know about my criminal record and that I'm an ex-offender, or do they not? Yes. It's that balance, it's getting that balance right.
Maybe because of all your challenges, you've got that energy that comes from having overcome other things. You can bring that into what you do as a student.
Yeah, I think that plays a big part.
Mentors come from a range of backgrounds. Sometimes they are ex-prisoners who offer personal experience, or professionals like Tom. Tom first visited Richard in prison, and since Richard's release has provided him with practical advice and career opportunities.
Richard spent the whole summer doing a whole variety of jobs, putting his degree into practice because he's studying construction management, and built most of the house. So here we are admiring it.
Yeah.
And what do you think?
Yeah, it's good. The best thing about the trust is the mentoring scheme. You can use the mentor as much or as little as you want, but just due to the things then of the opportunity that could come from that. When you're applying to people, if you've got something on your CV which stands out, then no matter what, if you've got a criminal record or criminal conviction, that will still stand you in good stead. So for me, that's the most positive thing for the Longford Trust.
These 3 students are well on their way to making careers for themselves. The Longford Trust continues to support similar cases and welcomes applications from ex-prisoners who wish to go into higher education.
Well, I think it's excellent. I think it's really impressive. I mean, that doesn't look posed, it actually is totally genuine.
If I didn't have the support from the Longford Trust, financially and mentally and physically, I wouldn't have been able to cope. It would have been too much to do.
I mean, if you know then the Longford Trust during your sentence can help you out, then that's got to be a bonus. It's got to be a good thing. So it's actually getting that mindset over in people while they're in prison. It's not necessarily, oh, I can't do anything while I'm in prison, so I won't bother. You can actually get the ball rolling as such when you're in. And I'd suggest, if you're just interested in something, just to follow it.
What this stuff does, like education, effectively, it allows people to become the person they was always meant to have been. And you know, because I had real issues with like my identity, you know, the way I grew up, the type of person I was meant to be, got lost in this whole kind of wider thing that I was chasing. And I think to be reminded that, you know, today I am actually being Jason, and it's actually quite nice to be Jason today, is a good thing, I think.
Around 80% of young prisoners re-offend within 2 years of release. In contrast, 80% of Longford scholars complete their degrees and start looking for jobs. You can apply online for a scholarship. Awards of up to £5,000 contribute towards tuition fees and living costs. If you wish to offer advice and support to an ex-prisoner as a mentor, do contact us.